Hey channel, so it is now time to share all the secrets. Normally secrets cost money, but I am going to do what old people are supposed to do, is pass on everything that they learn in their life. How's that? So first we're going to look at all the seeds. So this all took me 2.5 hours. Ta-da! I ordered, and I'm going to run you guys through this procedure just in case somebody actually does want to think about doing this for a business, because I just realized what I could say is that it turned out in my life that when I got introduced to Gourds, it was my calling to do this. And here I am again doing it. So I came to a spot where I could make a bunch of noise with this guy, which I used to scrape them out, and this loud guy, which is a file, and in here we got a bunch of files and sandpaper. So mainly I just use these two files. I gotta get me a new saw. I use this saw to chop off the phallic item. And trust me, I have thought many times about making things out of this to sell, but I won't do that. I ordered, let's see, I went on eBay, and I go there for gourds first because it's much easier to get gourds off of eBay than to the farm, because now the gourd farm, they're so elite kind of place that the big farm I get them from, they want a minimum order of like $200. So anyway, I got 10 of this size for $60 on eBay, which is actually and I think the shipping was free, so it's quite a bit cheaper, I think, than the farm. So anyway, and what was I gonna say? So I sat out here. Now this is a perfect day. Look at all the clouds. It's nice and cool, and I can come out here and work. And see, I have to go pick up all those seeds because I'll put those in bags and then sell them or give them away, you know, one or the other. And you can see why it's a mess, and you can't always do it in your house, and it makes a lot of noise. But if I had a power tool to chop all these off, it would make more noise. So you have to just have a spot to work. And, okay, so I went over that. And now these are what I'm going to call like small size. And, it's, what month is it? August. So I'm going to be making a bunch for holiday time, but also for classes, to have like people use these in teaching classes for Shekeres. So, and this gnarly thing, I've been using red palm oil. This is rancid too, so you can't, I mean, I use this for my skin and for eating, but this particular jar has been sitting out in the sun, so it's kind of rancid. Perfect for these guys. So I use the oil on the outside. It does color them a little bit orange, and it took me like it's 9:30, so it took me 2 hours to basically cut and clean them out and get them ready to put the string, you know, to do the outside. So that's not too bad. It's really fun too, because if I don't do this type, oh yeah, so here's why it became my calling. Like when I was very young, like 20 and all that, and I met the friend that taught me this, it involves like sitting still for hours on end. And because of my back, I've always had like scoliosis back issues. I can do a lot of anything, but sitting still for hours on end is like paradise. And then, of course, you have to, I just finished, my hand's going to be sore tomorrow because I just finished using all these muscles to use these tools, the sandpaper and everything, and the neighbors are far away. so I didn't bother anybody with the noise. But yeah, so I discovered I could just sit around. Now I can go listen to more YouTube videos without, you know, like without wasting my time. And then I can just make these. So yesterday I finished one with the beadwork. And as long as you have someone to talk to or something to listen to, you can sit around and make these, and it doesn't feel so monotonous or whatever you want to call it. So I just wanted to show that. And this is how simple. You don't have to have a big fancy shop or anything. You can if you want. And if you have electric tools, you would have done this in less time. But there still is no replacement for having to go inside these guys and dig out by hand the seeds and the pulp and everything. There's no way around it. A robot won't do it. Yeah, you can pour acid water in there, clean them out. But it just is forever going to be a physical thing to do. It's just all there is to it. Sandpaper and everything like that. So, like, next time, like if I was going to conduct a workshop again and make a flyer and advertise, I wouldn't go, so much. I'd focus on the market, which now is going to be like get off your keyboard and exercise your hands, or get out of the office kind of thing. Or what was I going to say? What's the thing called? Let's see. Oh, anyway, I had some kind of name that might attract people to just doing craft work of this nature, because it forces you to go back to square one with no technology, no electricity, just your hands and just some basic tools. So in the world where people, especially children, are going to be hopefully not as much as you think. When you go online and you hear how kids, oh my God, there were these two guys on, what's that channel, The Diary of a CEO, these two professional, one was a psychiatrist and another older gentleman, and they were talking about how they had been studying kids' brains when kids are given this thing to use, an AI, and how it's stunting their minds and their brains because they're giving all their thought and reasoning power over to the AI to do stuff for them. Anyway, it's like crippling on. So I market this kind of thing, activity to do. I say the word market, as like a balancing act to counter the electronic digital world, because this is no digital stuff. And I would be a real, like if I had a workshop again, I would say you're not allowed to bring your phones and no cameras and none of it. Just exercise your memory, because people are like everywhere they go. Even these concerts, like when I saw, well, maybe not at Burning Man, but you see these, what used to be called raves, I don't know, but they got all these lights and everybody's filming the stage with their cameras. I guess it's a thing. I don't know, it ain't my thing. So, but I would have workshops where you would just show up, don't bring your devices, don't record anything, just use your memory, use your hand. You won't be missing a thing, but people are just so, yeah, it's a little scary to be real dependent on AI. And then of course you can go on YouTube and find other people talking about this as well, if you want to. And so I guess that's all I want to show. Oh yeah, so then what I'll do once these are, oh yeah, so I want to explain something. Like, you can find Shekeres online, and in fact there's a lady, she has an Etsy account. She's making some really nice Shekeres, and she also puts a lot of artwork into it. So long ago I discovered that when I decorate the top and make it all arty and then use trippy bees and stuff, a person looking at it is attracted to the art and looks at it a little longer than they would if I just only put a net of plastic beads and let it go. So putting a little extra art on there has helped me to be able to charge the amount of money. So like when these are done, then the last question is, how much are they? And then I have to say, okay, what's my spiel going to be this time? It's going to be, well, it depends on, I'm going to say, well, how much you got? Because there's this, I always do sliding scale and trade. So if you got money or food, you talk to me. But basically, these are going to still have to sell retail for somewhere $75, $100. And if I was in a big city or selling around billionaires, it would be way the fuck more. It would be $300 when I finish one of these. It just depends on where you go. Like if I went to an art festival in California or to the Gourd festival that the farm has, yeah, man, it's almost 150, 200, 300. Because people that look and they can tell, how much work goes into it per hour. So let's say you make $20 an hour working as a janitor. $20 an hour you're going to make. Okay, so I just sat here for 2 hours. I cleaned these all out. I still got a ways to go. If I charge $20 an hour for the labor in these, they're going to run for $200 a piece. That's just all there is to it, not even counting materials. But the mindset of American shoppers tends to look at this and go, oh, it's a gourd from outside. And then they may think of Africa, they may think of third world, whatever, art, and then they're going to think of prices that, the world is weird. You go across the border to Mexico and something is half price. There's all these money differences, and if you live in America, you have to charge more money. Anyway, it's just all crazy. So I do, sell them bargainy thing, but if I have to, really be fair and not undersell, then I have to go by the hour, $20 an hour. I got at least, okay, so I clean this out in a half hour, something like that. And then I go buy the string and the beads. Let's say I buy some nicer beads that cost more or whatever. But then I'm going to go wood burn, and I'll show you guys when these are all done, so you'll see the end. Then I'm going to burn on it, and that takes time, and then do the beads. So by the time it's finished, it's like it's got at least 5 hours in it. So 20 times 5 is $100. So, but I get friends, and they go, oh, I don't have that, so I give it to them for less or whatever. And sometimes I just give stuff away, but if I go into a gallery or into a big city or to a show, someplace, in that way, retail goes way up. And if I go right now to the art gallery in town that used to sell these, I've got to get at least $75, and then she's going to tag on twice as much. So the price tag will say $150. And a lot of tourists, they don't know that the artist that makes that gets half of that, because the gallery gets as much as the artist when they mark it up twice or even 3 times more. That's how that works. It's weird. Because the gallery's like, well, we're providing the space for you to show your art, so that should cost you money, Mr. Artist. But Mr. Artist will say, well, my stuff is gracing your gallery. So you can just, I'll just charge you for having my stuff in your store to begin with, to eye candy people, Anyway, so it's always been like a weird thing with selling and all that. But the idea with these is not to sell them, because I'm going to take a trip and then teach and have a bunch there for kids to use and stuff like that. So, and I'm going to focus on kids now mostly. And these are nice and small. And then just teach, and it'll give people some, after you've been on that keyboard, you come out here and you play, and you'll kind of get some tension out of your wrist. And then with all this attention on the light frequency sound therapy. I mean, if I word things correctly, and speak seriously correctly, this is going to be frequency, rhythm, sound, and vibration in the bones. Never mind that these probably come from another planet. We brought them to Earth and everything. Anyway, I'm waiting to get big when I have a yard and I'm growing them so I can have people come over and pick them out of the field and all that. But otherwise, okay, so I did that. Showed you guys these tools. This is a keyhole saw. I use a pencil sometimes, and these are just files. I have rat tail files. And that's just oil. So that's kind of the main thing. Some people use varathane, liquid plastic around the outside. These are nice, solid, hard gourds. And, of course, nowadays, if you go online to buy a Shekeres, you're going to see the big corporations like Meinl, is that how you say it? And LP are using fiberglass. So they got a factory now that makes these out of fiberglass. First, they say, oh, fiberglass is stronger, it'll last longer. No, wrong. I had a fiberglass gourd. It was very nice. And it was thin like this. It sounded beautiful. You didn't have to clean it out. They made it at the factory so you could roll out the same size. But one day I was playing it and boom, it cracked on the bottom just like a gourd because it was thin. So don't let fiberglass people tell you that it won't break. Basically, if you have an instrument, you treat it nice. You don't throw it around. Any instrument will break. Guitars will not do good, you know. Any instrument, any drum, you just don't toss it around. Same with this. But these are all pretty solid right now. So I just want to say that about fiberglass because you know how it is. Industry pops up to sell something in a certain manner, but my calling, I guess for all this time, is to keep doing this. So here I am sitting out here again today. I'm like, jeepers, it's the same life. Nothing has changed in 40 years. Basically, 40 years, nothing's changed. I'm still sitting here doing this. For better or worse. And it gives me time to contemplate all the good crap I've been listening to on this device about the world out there. If you know what I mean. Okay, well, I hope that was helpful. And I seriously mean it. If anybody wants to go into a business making gourd craft items and or percussion instruments in a big way. I mean, I've sold these to music stores, and then the schools will come when they had music programs, of course. Music teachers will come to the music stores and purchase these through them. So I've never had trouble selling these, and you will not either. You just have to really know your market. And, whether you go to a craft show where you're outside or you put them in a gallery or whatnot. And there's so many different things, you can make other things. You don't have to make Shekeres out of these. So, okay, well, I hope that was helpful to somebody. And I have this old gourd video from 3 years ago that keeps getting views. It's like almost, and it wasn't my best narration either, but I looked at the other day, it's got freaking 800 views. It keeps climbing. It's the one where I was showing how to do the net of beads and everything. So somebody's interested. Okay, and once again, if you're in the area of Bisbee, Arizona, and you want a private workshop, just call me up and we'll come out here to the park or the mountain. There's a lot of places. I'm at the dog park. You can look on a map. It's a dog park, Bisbee, Arizona. People bring their dogs, and I'm not going to show the park. I'm looking the other way. But yeah, you can just come out here. It's free. You don't have to pay for a building. You don't have to pay for a site. I don't even have to have a house to do it in a yard, although I'd like that. It would be a lot better. But for now, I have to come out here to work. And that's the point. You could go anywhere and take just a bag of tools and do your work. So maybe somebody will like that idea. I don't know. Okay. that's it for today. Thank you so much, and have a good day, and